Oh god. Oh boy. Oh no. Blurring everywhere. Alright guys, what is going on? As you can tell by the thumbnail, the video, and everything, we have received an Arclight Dynamics ArcMax 5x10. This is their somewhat, or I guess this is the top of the line industrial table that they offer. It is a water table, so yeah, we're gonna go through all this. But basically this is I don't even know what to say, probably the best table they offer. I mean, yeah, it's got almost everything. Yeah, we didn't opt out for every single attachment, so this can also come with a wood router and a pipe or tube cutter. All we got was just the CNC plasma cutter and the CNC engraver, which is all air driven and all this stuff. And we're gonna go over the whole setup of this and everything, but as you guys know, we like to build a lot of custom stuff and suspension and other things along that line, track bars, whatever, kind of just anything. You can make signs, mailboxes, whatever you want. And this was a necessary business investment that we wanted to make, so we're excited to finally have it. And thank you again to Arclight Dynamics for working with us. I wouldn't say, I don't know the correct terminology, it's technically a sponsor of sorts, but you know, we agreed on getting this table and we worked out a deal, and now we have it here. So we are super excited and ready to put this thing to use. There is a lot of stuff. I'm going to pull out the instruction manual as we do the unboxing. I know first things first, we have to level the table, which you can do. Right now we still have it on the wheels, which is basically set up for delivery. They just bolt on, and then under here there are adjustment feet. So basically when you set this table down, you need to level it perfectly. Will it cut with it not being perfectly level? Yes, but the problem is you want your water level to be the same across, because the water keeps it cool and makes your cuts nice and keeps all the smoke and everything down. So you want to make sure your level is the same here as it is on the other end. So that's a big key of being adjusted and perfectly level. So this is the anti-rust protection stuff. It's basically, in a sense, coolant, if you will, and you basically pour that in and mix it with water. Like I said, we're going to go over the full unboxing setup and then hopefully maybe get it running today, make some test cuts if I have some metal laying around. I'm not sure if I do, but just for sake of what it's able to do, they send us this little trinkets here. So these are some of the things that it can do. I'll put it down here. So this is the plate engraver. You can see it marked lines in it, and then they cut it out. This is just like a little tab. This is an Arclight Dynamics logo with a bottle opener, and this is just some keyways and other stuff cut out and angles and stuff. So this is just basic stuff that it can do. Obviously everything is in 2D, it's all programmed. I know their computer comes with the sheet cam programming, the QCAD, which you can draw in, and it comes with the CNC router file or the CNC plasma file that turns it all and cuts it all. Now I do a lot of drawing on solid edge. That's just where I learned. You can put things into 3D shapes on there, still cut it in 2D but do 3D, so you can see like shock towers and all that stuff. But basically this table comes turnkey to cut and design and do everything on just their setup. I import stuff. That's just the way I do it. But we'll go over the entire process for this whole thing. We're gonna get to unboxing some of this stuff and just see what it all comes with. We got a PowerMax 85 plasma cutter from Hypertherm with the table, so yeah, we're gonna unbox that too, get it all set up, and hopefully be cutting today. This table's nice because the way we have it set up and set in here is, well, obviously the gantry won't be in the way, but you have rollers here, so if you need to load a sheet of metal on, you can come in here with a forklift or whatever and then slide it on here. This will help roll it onto the table. And it's all around sturdy, it's all steel. Obviously, I'm pretty sure it's their most industrial table. They have a few other options. This is a 5x10, they have a 4x8. I know when you get out of the ArcMax series, you go to, like, you can get 4x4s, I think a few other smaller sizes. So if you don't have a lot of space, there are definitely affordable options to get a plasma table for yourself. Now, the reason we opted for such a big table is, one, if we do axle trusses or link arms or something, we need the length. We were talking about going 4x8, but sometimes you get stuff that's just, you never know if you need to cut a little bit longer, and it'll do it. So we were just thinking long term, what would be the best for us. And this is what we had at our shop in California. I loved it. I was super happy. That's why we reached out to them to work with them, and we're excited to get using this bad boy. So we'll start unboxing everything. We're gonna go over it. I know it comes with the computer, monitor, stands, and all that stuff. So we will, like I said, I'm gonna open everything. We're gonna lay it out and talk about everything that it comes with. Just what we needed. Hopefully they stop revving their motorcycle. So this is the operations manual. Obviously, we already unloaded the table, so we're gonna start the first part of the quick setup guide, which is a control cabinet setup. But first, let's go over everything that they shipped with us. That was the package the book came in. It was in the bottom of the small box. This is the control cabinet here. It has all your, basically all your ports and controls and computers and everything you need to basically run the table. They did send a keyboard here, so got a keyboard, a mouse, some router, or the engraver. There's a screen, here's the back brace, and then this is a 5-stage air filtration system that you're gonna wanna need in order to keep your table running clean. So we probably might need to upgrade our air compressors in the future, because although we have enough CFM to run this thing, they're a little bit old, so we might end up moving to a dryer style. Basically, we're gonna start with the control cabinet setup though, so we'll start putting that together right now, and yeah, we'll catch back in the next step. It doesn't look too bad though. This is just putting the brace on the back of the cabinet, so we'll get that set up and then we'll continue on. Alright, here is your control cabinet. We have it set up. Here are a set of keys. I'm guessing some files are on this USB. Keys go in here to unlock and open this. Oh, this is nice. And glass. There are 4 half-inch bolts in the back here that mount the cabinet to the spine, and then there's 2 more that mount it to the table itself. You can get a rolling cart set up. This one's like a static mount, so it stays attached to the table. But this is where we wanted it. It's good. We can still reach all our outlets and everything. The screen is back here, keeping it covered just for safekeeping. But we're gonna go into the whole setup here for the cabinet and everything, which will be basically just running all the wires and making sure everything is all plugged in the way it needs to be. So, all right, we're gonna take a minute break from setting up all of this stuff and that, which we get the cabinet now on, and we're actually going to level the table. We had to go out and get a level, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to jack it up, take the wheels off, set it down, jack the wheels up, jack it up, take the wheels off, set it down, and then we're going to level this way, that way, and then like diagonal. Just make sure the table's perfectly level or as close as we can get to the best of our ability. So we're going to go ahead, get it jacked up, take it all the wheels off, set it down, then we'll have to lift it up and adjust the table all around on all sides. Hopefully the ground's pretty flat here, so it's not too hard, but you never know with these concrete pads. So we'll get it set down, and then we should be ready to roll and finish setting this thing up today. Like the handle should be like this way, like not in line with the tube, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they look good then.
Yeah, they're good. All right, so I don't know what we did with the level. I think it's over here. We got the table leveled. Look at this bad boy. You would think this level would probably be the most expensive level. This was somehow the cheapest level at Home Depot. It was like 40 bucks. So
that wasn't even an excuse to buy Milwaukee.
I know, it wasn't even an excuse to buy Milwaukee. It looks cool. It's definitely the best looking one. But so we got level, and now this side. Level. So that, obviously we did the other two sides too, just to make sure all across that this thing is good. We checked all the feet are planted, all the lock nuts are on. It's just two little, I don't know if I can get this low enough. See the two nuts right there? One spins the foot, one locks it down. So now that this is full, as we continue our startup, we're gonna pour in the rust blocker just to kind of get started on filling it, because it's probably going to take a while to fill this thing up. So we're gonna dump this bad boy in. I'm pretty sure we dumped the whole thing in. I'm going to. And then you just fill it up with the hose the rest of the way. I don't know if there's another way to do that, but that seems the most reasonable way. Oh God, I can't open that. Oh, that high altitude kind of, I don't know. Maybe we should start getting some water in it first. That way it's not like pouring chemicals on stuff and staining stuff. But we are gonna run the hose in here, start getting this filled up. I don't think this says too much about the water. It just says make sure the table is leveled and the control cabinet is on before putting water in it. So we're at the point where we're gonna let this thing fill up while we finish setting up the control cabinet and the plasma table. So we're gonna put that thing under there. That way we can reach the outlet, and it should be all pretty close and accessible. So let's get to pouring. Yeah, if you want. Oh. Just open it all the way so it's not like pressured. That should be.
Do something.
All right. Oh God. Oh boy. Oh no. Splurging everywhere. Let's get it, dude. So at this point you have two Cat 5 cables rolled up in the bottom of the plasma table. Thank you, Eric. One is for the PWM. I don't really know what that stands for, but it plugs in right there on the side of your plasma. That comes all set up from Arclight. It shows you right where to do it in the instructions. There's another one that says to plasma. I can only assume it goes to the plasma. There is a bundle of wires back here that is ran up into the bottom of the cabinet, and it has all your X, Y, Z, and A access cables, plus with your home cable, and then also the power stop cable over here on the side, this little emergency stop button, and those plug in over there. There's this one right here, and then in the back, maybe a little dark back here, but you have your 4 axis cables right there that all just screw in. They're all one way. You just want to zip tie this bad boy up and out of the way right there. At this point, it says you can test all our motors and everything. We're taking a little time lapse here for some video stuff, but we're gonna let this fill up the rest of the way, and then we'll go into the testing. We haven't set the plasma up fully yet, but that is something for a little bit later. This, by far, has to be one of the most satisfying things I've ever seen. So clean, so fresh, full to the brim. Looks actually really leveled. Like, we don't really have any low spots or anything. I'm super stoked on that. Someone's racing motorcycles down the street, but if only this was orange, which maybe next time, but definitely so sick. So now we're gonna run through power procedures on with this. They say you don't have to connect your plasma table, or like connect the plasma to the table. I'm gonna hook up the actual torch itself over here real quick, and then we'll turn this whole unit on, make sure everything works according to the manual. I don't know if I was supposed to fill it yet, but I did, and it looks sick, so I'm excited. It just said make sure it's level first, and this is connected, so we're all good. Now that this is full, I think we're ready to plug this in. It's Sunday, I'm tired, but I think I'm doing this all right, but I guess here goes nothing. Just hope I don't mess this up, you know? And power switch down here. Ooh. We got power. Now the button to turn it on is right there. We will close this bad boy up. Pull this off. Turn that on. So it says on controller, the LED will light up. Here's the desktop image. This is what we got. So we're gonna go to, oh yeah, the Command CNC plasma profile. Okay, so they changed a little bit on me. It is the P2 plasma software. That's gonna be your Command CNC. Now, I'm not gonna move it. I'm gonna bring it to me because I gotta move the plasma torch. But as far as I know, we gotta make sure the e-stop is not active. Oh, you know what we gotta do? Haven't got there yet. We gotta turn it on. There we go. Oh, you hear it move? All right. It says e-stop active. It can't do anything. I might need to set this up a little bit further. But this should be moving. So let me figure that out. All right, I figured it out. That emergency stop button was pushed. We have turned off the e-stop active, which is this right here. So you turn that off, and now it should move. Look at, oh my God, this is so fun. I want to make sure everything's gonna clear. We got it pretty close to the wall here. Just trying to go slow. You don't want to ram it into the end here. That's your homing, squaring stuff. Let me get this thing cut off here so I can put it up here. That way everything's out of the way. And we should be able to home it and let it do its thing. And we will videotape that here in a second. But I'm so excited it's moving. Powerful magnets. All right. So, real quick, while we have this thing, now that everything's out of the way here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna let it home real quick, which is just tapping the home and X and Y. And that should bring it to a square in this corner where it's gonna be your starting point for all of your cutting needs. And of course it's starting to rain. We don't have the plasma cut up yet, but at least we have the table operational. So this should stop. There we go. And look at that. So, We're gonna read through the instructions, just make sure everything is set up. The page up and page down, control the gantry, all this stuff. So everything's looking good. Like I said, I'm going to go through all of the steps here in the procedure, but that's the quick startup. We got everything powered up and working, and I am just so excited. Like I said, we got the plate engraver, which was air powered, and will come down and do some engraving for us if we need to engrave anything in plates. We have the cutter, and we are almost ready to roll. After we get this all sorted, figured out 100%, we got to set up the plasma, which should be fairly easy, and then we can start making cuts on this thing. But we're gonna have to get after it soon, because you know these things are not cheap, but we want to put it to work and get using it. I know the first thing we have to make is we're going to make a drop bracket for the drive shaft for that solid axle swap Duramax and some other plates, so we will get working on that soon. I'm excited to put this thing to use though and see what happens. So it is a couple days later, but as you can see, I don't really remember where we left off, but we have the table all leveled. You actually want to, when you're leveling this, you want to bring the middle up about 1.5 turns, or I think it was 5 turns. I don't remember. The instructions tell you it's about 1.5 turns though, I believe. That way the table's kind of crowning, so when you fill it up, it settles level. Everything's leveled like we said. We filled it up with the 5 gallons of coolant for the 5x10 and the rest water. Now I know I left off installing the ground rod and all the other stuff here. We are a little close, so I am going to get over this. And oh, it's windy out. So I'll show you right here. I drove an 8-foot grounding rod into the ground. Sorry, it's a little bit of a mess out here, and ran some wire through the wall into here. Now, this is a nice new feature that they've added. Our old table, I talked to the previous shop owner in California. He made sure he didn't have this, but this is a ground lead that goes to the table right here, so you're always bolted, don't have to worry about the clamp. Then you have your earth lead, I guess, your earth ground right here, that goes into the middle. And then you plug in your plasma lead, so the lead from the actual plasma machine into here, and then you have one bus bar with all your grounds on it. So I'm actually gonna close this door because we're almost done for the day. Oh, we are stuck. Okay. Whoa, hello. Jesus. I don't know why this door is locked down like Fort Knox, but it is. So sorry, we were doing a lot of work today. It's kind of a mess. Oh, this fell off too. Might have to stick this on here. I think the humidity's not cooperating with it so well. I'll stick that back on though. I want to clean these wires up a little bit because they're a little bit long. We have our 5-stage air thing here that I need to mount to the wall. Haven't got there yet, but we got our power cable plugged in. Now, one thing the instructions do say, as you can tell, this nice 110 outlet right here. I can't use that though. It says these outlets need to be separated by more than 10 feet for electrical noise. I don't know if, because that wire runs along there, if that's still considered 10 feet or not, or back there. So I'm gonna run an extension cord from somewhere else just to be safe. We have the whole cabinet set up. I think everything is set up. So let's get it turned on. All right, so now that we have this thing pretty much set up, fully at least wired and everything, I know I still need to do the air and all that stuff. I am gonna show you, I don't have any metal here, I only got a little piece, so I can only cut little things, but basically I'm gonna run you through full startup procedures on this and show you how to cut like a pretty easy shape. All right, I know the shop's a mess. We are gonna get a shorter extension cord. This is kind of our work one, but like I said, you don't want these plugged in necessarily next to each other. So first things first, without electrocuting myself here, we're gonna plug this in. And now take this for granted, I am not a master by any means of this. We're actually going to do the training in Oregon next week, which you guys will see a video on, so I'm sure I'll learn more. I believe this is the appropriate startup procedures. I'm not 100%, so bear with me on that. I will refine after our trip. You're gonna turn the power strip on down here, and then this is your computer power on button, so you're gonna turn that on. So that will basically, now we have power here. We turn on the computer, so everything's all set up for right now. I gotta go turn the circuit breaker on for the plasma. We're not gonna turn that on yet though, and I'll show you why in a minute. All right, so you can see this thing took like 5 seconds to load up. You're gonna let it, I turned the monitor off just to keep it. I'm gonna move this. And like I said, I'm gonna keep this very kind of to the point on just how easy it is to do something. So because we're changing the tip real quick, this is not, I guess, normal procedure, but we're gonna open up the P2 plasma, which is your command CNC. And once this is open, then you're gonna come back to the box and you're gonna turn your on for your output controls for the whole gantry. Now you can hear the motors click usually at this point, but you're still not gonna be able to move it or anything. There's an E-stop here, right in this corner. You're gonna click till it grays out. And this will allow me, I'm just using the arrow control buttons on my keyboard. You can buy a little pad here that I might end up buying later, but this will now let me control it. So we're gonna bring this all the way over to pretty much the corner. Now you don't wanna drive the gantry into the ends. It does have stops on this side to not let it go that far, but you just wanna make sure you stay off the end pretty much. And now I found this piece of metal, it's pretty small, so I don't have any here yet. We have to wait for a delivery. Once you get to pretty much kinda the corner here, we still have about a foot of movement. This is when you're gonna home your X and Y axis. So that is auto gonna bring the torch to the end and bring it to the end of the table. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna square up your gantry. So, all right, so I marked this. We're gonna bring this down pretty much as low as we can get without hitting the material. And you can see we need to go a little bit left here. You can adjust how much it moves and feed rates and stuff. I'll get into that after I learn. But to me, I need to go forward a little bit, but we look pretty close there. So we need to go back right there, looks pretty good. So sometimes it can be a pain to get it centered, but what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna zero our X and Y. So that's where we want it to cut. Now I'm gonna hold just right, and I'm gonna go down. I already marked the plate again down here to make sure we're square. So it's no mark in particular. I just wanna make sure we're still over that line. And now you can see we are. So at this point, we're basically pretty much ready to cut. Now the problem with this is, and it worries me the most cutting stuff like this, is this plate's kind of light. So it's possible the plasma arc will actually move it. I'm hoping not. I can try and find a magnet that will help hold it, but I'm gonna just let it run like this. Now it may mess up, may get not the cleanest thing. I suggest if you're cutting a small piece, put an anchor on it of sorts. I think that's what these are for over here. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I still have to do the training on it. I've never used all the features this table has. But at this point, our preset amps are at 45. We have our power plugged in. There's a switch on the back here. We're gonna make sure our plasma is on. And it's set to 45 amps. I'm not sure. The orange light's on because we don't have air going to it. So we have our air hooked up. I'm gonna make sure the compressor's on. Just gonna turn it on. Now it's important to have really dry air on this. I do need to drain my compressor, so hopefully it doesn't have too much water go through that thing. I wanna put another water separator on it. Here, we need to take this. Might be loud. And we're gonna plug it in. Like I said, this needs to be mounted still. It probably works better standing up, so we're gonna stand it up. We have 80 PSI, so there's already air in the compressor. We're good. I turn it on just to run. So at this point, we can basically run this file. So what you're gonna do is don't look at the arc, but we're gonna come over here and hit run. But in theory, this should now cut out this design. Let's hope for the best. So I try to move it over a spot that's not going to splash water everywhere so we don't make a mess and lose all our coolant. You can see it's already evaporating a little bit, so you got to add some more water. But once this thing stops blowing air, I will just show you how clean. It is incredible. This thing is by far amazing. So at this point, now you have to be careful at this point, not really because of this, but if you'll see there's a roll of all the cables and everything back here. You want to make sure you don't crash them into your wall. So I already did some setting up on this, which is if you go to your manual setting here, you can hit load material and you can set all your X and Y and everything on how far away it goes. So I have this set up, so I should be able to just send it home, and I'm gonna hold stop just to make sure I did it right. So this is gonna bring it all the way out of the way. We're not gonna cut anything else today, so I'm gonna just send it back to where it needs to go. Now mine it shouldn't have gone all the way to the end, which you can see it stopped a little bit premature, but that's because I didn't think about putting this in and we get really close to the wall. So you don't want to crash that roll right there into the wall. So I set it just so it stopped. This is long enough to put a 4x8 sheet on. Everything's good, but let's take a look at this. Pull my sleeve up. And it's not even hot thanks to the lovely water here. And look at the cut quality. This is incredible. This is so clean. It's honestly, like, I've used some plasma tables and this is some of the best quality I've ever seen on a cut. There's barely, oops, as I slam it through. I think the correct term for it is dross that comes out the bottom, or slag. This thing is gonna require minimal cleanup. Now this is obviously already cut. Now if I was gonna cut this out of a big plate, I would do the box around it like I showed you guys, which would make it a little bit easier for squaring it up. But I think we did pretty good for just lining this up. So now we have a cross member, which I believe, let me take a stroll out here because they're all for this truck outside. I don't know where this one goes. I had a bunch cut from my buddy Eric in California off his Arclight table. I'm pretty sure this is for the front lower piece here. It actually goes up top, I believe. Yeah, I think it goes up here. So I'm gonna have to weld this in later, but let's see if I can get it set up there. Oh, come on. So now, instead of having just a square piece of metal, because that gets heavy, we have some nice fancy cutouts. This was also cut on the ArcMax 5x10 that we were using in California. So now you can see why this is so nice to have, especially when you're building all sorts of cool stuff like all this stuff. So this, and it looks so much better. Like, instead of just welding a plate up there, you have a good looking design. It's still structural, and this thing is, I am honestly impressed with the cut quality on that. That's like, it's about as perfect as it gets. So a simple how to get something cut on here that, like I said, this was fairly simple. It took me all of about 30 minutes to set this up, design the file, and cut this thing. It was, and look at that. And it's nice, like, yeah, sometimes the metal gets stuck here. You can try and pull them out. You can use a magnet to pull them out, but there's actually a catch grate down here that just catches it. Normally I wouldn't. I'm gonna throw it right here so I can get it out easy, but it only goes down about 4 inches. You can just pull it out with a magnet so your table doesn't get all nastied up with the metal. So like I said, this is in a shop where you build fabrication, because you can take this so much further than this. I'll show you, like I showed you on that truck, some of the examples of the stuff we do. You have the possibilities are endless. This is just, it's so amazing to have. It's so simple to use, especially for a first-time user. Like I said, I have experience. Arclight Dynamics has a class on this, so you can go learn either in Oregon, they're in Bend, Oregon, or you can have them come out to you to teach you how to use it. We opted to go to them, and you can see we hit our marks pretty good. So like I said, I'm sure there's better ways to line it up, but I think we did pretty good. It looks pretty straight to me. Might be a little heavy on the top side, so we might have been a little bit off, but whatever, it's good enough for just a trial and error piece, and it looks super clean. So I highly recommend. You guys don't necessarily need one this big. The reason we went so big on this is that truck needs a frame. So eventually I'm gonna cut a whole frame out on this table for that truck and build it from scratch. I threw that frame away, it was all rusty, I didn't want to fix it. I want it to look cool. It's gonna be the shop truck. It's gonna be my first like show build for myself. So I'm gonna go pretty much all out as far as I can with it. So that being said, I have a lot of drawing to do to get that to happen. I have a little bit of experience on this table, but we are definitely going to learn a lot more when we go visit Arclight Dynamics. The customer service with these guys is always top notch. We've never had a problem with it. The Hypertherm plasma cutter, obviously you guys know Hypertherm. If you know anything of the industry, they're the best you can get. So this table is structurally stout. We haven't even put all the side panels on yet. Like I said, we've been so busy working, trying to get this set up, trying to get this put out. I'm trying to use it. I love this thing. As you can see how nice and quick and easy and fast it makes things. I have a lot of stuff to cut out, but the table is just quality. You have to, there in the instruction book, there is, you know, there's your daily, your weekly, monthly, 6-month maintenance schedule that you need to follow, stay on top of all that stuff. So make sure you do that, because you want your table to cut that good every time you use it. So you have to make sure you stay on top of that stuff. But I tell you, these tables are resilient, and they're incredible. It works so good, and I'm so excited. So all in all, you guys can see how simple, awesome, and just amazing it is to have one of these tables. Again, thank you for Arclight Dynamics, or thank you to Arclight Dynamics for partnering up with us on this table. We're so excited. You can see just the endless possibilities. Like I said, this was super simple. I want to throw this in there, show you guys how easy it was to, you know, cut something out. We have so much more to do on this, so many more videos to come. Just breaking this thing down, seeing builds, all that stuff. We have my truck in here right now getting some suspension stuff. We talked about it. We think the orange truck might be the next big comeback. So we'll be putting this thing through its paces to get that truck done. So there, again, is a lot of maintenance that goes with this, but they're pretty self-sufficient tables that you can just easily run. And, you know, I had no training on this before, just what we used in California at the time. So yeah, I've used it for about a year. I got to know it and all that stuff, but there's always updates, always new stuff. So again, you can go to the Arclight facility and do training, or they can come out to you. That's what we're doing. It was part of our deal. We're going to go out there, see the whole facility, and get some schooled up on it a little bit. But it generally is fairly easy to use. So I'm thoroughly impressed, and they're always upgrading and making a better quality product. There's been some upgrades even from the table that we used, which wasn't even that old, that I've noticed, like the grounding and the bus bar in the back and all that other stuff. And I can tell you right now, the cut quality on this table is impeccable. Like, for this to have barely any cleanup, like I could hit this with just a flappy disc real quick. I could probably do it just hand sanding off all the stuff that's on here. It's nothing crazy. So, but keeping up on your maintenance will take care of all your clean cuts and everything. But this is incredible. The cut quality, the ease of use, and just everything about this table is absolutely amazing. So that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you guys are excited now that we have a table in-house. We can go back to making frame plates, all the other custom stuff that we were doing before. But now we're gonna take some time to really focus and hone in our skills on this thing and get to know how to use it the best we possibly can. So that's gonna do it, guys. If you enjoyed the video, drop a thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And if you guys want a table for your own project, they have smaller versions. This is about the biggest one they have. I think they have a 6x12, but if you want one of your own tables, check out Arclight Dynamics. You don't need to get this crazy big water table. You can get smaller ones and something that fits your needs, but definitely make sure to go check them out. So that's gonna do it, guys. I gotta get back to work, but we'll see you later. I'm out.